that it doesn't fit with the greater story that you're telling, but that wasn't necessarily the conclusion that I would have come to.
We were asked to include in terms of our meditations.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, cool, Oscar. Okay, great. All right, great.
From last week?
this is an actual course that in theory a person could get certified in. It's a free course by the Asian Cultural Studies, right?
What's that?
Oh, this particular course.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, if you found it, you could take it and do it. But this is a whole lot better because this is
I agree.
from the spigot. If that makes sense.
I didn't know that.
Well,
I didn't either until I started doing my homework.
I'm not making a big thing of it per se because
I think if people knew what this actually is, this would be a very fun group.
I'd rather be low key about it, and it's cool. And there's going to be some meaningful attrition. Oscar, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, perfect.
Ariel, hi.
Hello. How are you?
Well, I'm well. How are you? Where are you? I know somewhere it's always night somewhere, it's always day somewhere. Is it always Christmas somewhere?
Yes, it's always Christmas at Nana's house.
That's nice. Of course it is. Cool. Yeah, pretty. Colorado? Does that mean you're up in Colorado? No.
No, we're in Placitas. She moved to Placitas.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. What do you guys think? If I promise not to sit against the wall, can we be closer? Can we do it? Is that okay? You can get anything you want to sit on. You see, I like a blanket. Oh, just, I don't know, like, oh, well, that's the other thing. It is Rona times after all. Well, just, I don't know, just roughly. Okay. All right, cool.
I'm okay right now. I'll get a cushion later.
Okay. You don't have to do anything. Oh, you don't want a cushion? You don't like cushions? Okay, you have time. It's okay. It takes me a long time to take my jacket off. Okay. All right, cool. Oh, good. We're recording. Oh, that's what I want. Here. Okay. So did you keep your Oh, I have it open right now. Okay, I had a feeling. Mandel? Yeah. Okay, these are super optional for the variable phrase. Oh boy. Yeah, but these 2 pages can never be separated. Cool. Yeah, go to the, this is the second one, says Mandel, which is it's actually like a slight Tibetan corruption. Right, Oscar, you're working on your Tibetan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Why does the prayer, why is the prayer in the ACI readings called Mandel? Like, what language is Mandel? Yeah.
Oh, Sanskrit.
It's not though. That's the thing. It's
Sounds like Hebrew.
mandala would be Sanskrit, right? But because in Tibetan,
Oh,
right? What happened? Did you figure it out?
yes, they have this thing they call Sanskritized Tibetan.
Yeah, right. And when you put a here a law, right? You would think that it's L, but it's
Yeah.
L because they're actually doing Sanskrit. No one else needs to know that, okay? But only for the geekiest guy who's in the room. Okay, cool. So your option to say along, write the prayers from Mandala. You can do this thing. Look, there are a few of us. We can do it. Pinkies to pinkies. Here. Look, we're gonna do this thing. Can I help? Is it okay? All right, cool. Yeah. Here. Pinkies to the back of pinkies. Okay, and then grab your. Sorry, ring finger. Grab your. Yeah, good. Now. Yeah, here we go. Here, this grabs. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me see. It's so hard on someone else. It's like tying a tie on someone else. Oh yeah, cross your middle fingers now. Yeah, and then this grabs this guy. This grabs this guy. That's great. Good. Now you're talking. Yeah, cool. Okay. It's super unnecessary, but kind of fun. Yeah, totally. Ring fingers go back to back. Yeah, right. Yeah, ring fingers are going back. Yeah, so first we go pinkies cross. Good. Yeah. Cool. Ring finger. Yeah. Middle finger cross. Not too bad. Good. All right, let's see what you got. Middle finger. Okay, pinkies cross over, not under. Yeah, good. You got How are your fingers backwards? There we go. Good. Now we're talking. Good. Now these cross. Now thumb. You have the world's smallest hands. Cool. That's so cool. Okay, good. Yeah, look at that. Cool. Okay, good. Yeah, I can't grab your fingers, Ariel and Ricky. I'm sorry. It's okay. Next time we hang out together, that's pretty good. Sashi Puki Jukshin Me Tok Drum Rirab Lingshin Yende Gyempadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwardi Jokun Namdak Shingla Juparsho Iram Guru Ranamandala Kanayatayami. Look at the one called Kyapdro Semkye. Yeah, you no longer need this thing. You just offered it as an offering for the teaching. Yeah, good. Cool. Yeah, fine. Totally. God bless. Don't worry about it. Yeah. We're going to say this one 3 times. Sangye Chedang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Daki Jinsoki Pe Sonam Ki Jola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chedang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Daki Jinsoki Pe Sonam Ki Jola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho Sangye Churang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Daki Jinsoki Pe Sonam Ki Dola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho. Cool. Okay. Caleb, what book are we studying? The 3 Principal Paths. Who wrote the 3 Principal Paths? Yeah, Jet Tsongkhapa. Okay, Jet means Lord, Tsongkha means the guy from Tsongkha. Okay. Okay, I said I would do this for someone who didn't make it tonight, but that's okay. It'll be there. Here. Okay. Here, it's good luck if I just do it, even though you can't read it yet. But maybe it plants a seed that 73 lifetimes from now, you'll have to teach me Tibetan. It could happen. That's because you can't read the language, so you're assuming that it's good. Yeah. So, num. So you see, when the English comes along, you can see that it's still bad. What's lumsum umsum? You said already. You get to say again. What is?
three principles?
Yeah, the three principal paths. Okay, path. Okay, three. Okay, main. Okay, whatever ones. All right, don't sweat it. Not a big deal. Okay. What are the three principal paths? Roughly English. I'll take English.
The wish.
Yeah, in no particular order. Sure.
Renunciation.
I like it. Yeah, renunciation. It's fine. It's a Tibetan word anyway. So if you renunciation. Yeah, that's true.
The correct view.
And
or
correct.
perception.
And what did you say? Correct view?
Correct view or perception.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we'll say correct view for now. Okay, cool. Right. So point being that theoretically, on the you already know those things, but here I'll tilt it anyway. Theoretically, this book, this 14-verse poem, and you can read it online. It's on the website also. I'll email it to you if need be, but also now you can go to like whatever, it's like nirgunayoga.com/Buddhism or something like that, has the materials. It's hidden, it's not posted on the front of them, but you can navigate to it. Then you can go and see the reading if you want to. Oh, that's interesting. That made a mess that we'll deal with later. But it's 14-verse poem that theoretically is all that you would need to go from not enlightened to total enlightenment. Okay. Ostensibly in a single lifetime, though, this is highly debated. They say maybe, right, 7 lifetimes from the time that you get to here or something. We'll get there. We'll talk about it. Okay. There's an exercise that my teacher did at the beginning of this class, and it always kind of bothered me so much that I thought about not talking about it. All right. But we'll talk about it because he did it. So I'm not going to not do it. He came from a monastery where they debate everything, right? We've talked about debate in the teacher training, but we never really did it much. Okay, so like a cheap way to start a debate, okay, in the monastery is you go up to a guy and you say like mushi musu mebe. Okay, so mu means like a possibility or a permutations. Okay, shi is 4 and sum is 3. So mushi musum mebe, meaning there's not 3 or 4. Okay, so 3 or 4 what? All right, we'll say sky and blue. All right, is there something that is both the sky and blue? No, maybe, yes. What do you think?
Oh, this is not.
Audience participation, right? It's okay. Is there something that's both the sky and blue?
A thought?
Is the sky and it's blue?
Well,
I mean, the sky itself.
The sky on a clear blue day.
Yeah.
That's what that was going to be my choice. Okay, we'll get there. Okay, you're new to the thing. Don't worry about it. Okay, yeah. Is there something that is the sky but not blue?
The cloudy, overcast day.
It's not particularly blue out there right now, right? Yeah, maybe this sky. Okay, is there something that's blue but not the sky? For example,
color blue, right?
the color itself. Yeah, that's a slightly abstract choice, but sure. Yeah, right. I think.
There's blue and the sky.
Yeah, great. That block, sure. The block your sweatshirt, right? Yeah, it's fine. You're not wrong. Okay. Something that is neither.
A complete computer?
And also a rock. Yeah, I mean, right. Depending on the rock, you could have a blue rock. I think you might right, a gray rock. Yeah, great, cool. Okay, so that would be she. All right, what would be sum? Right, she is 4, sum is 3. Okay, she sum mushi musume becher. Do you know off the top of your head, Oscar, something that's sum?
not. I have to
That's
think.
okay. And then we'll, whatever, there's a trick to it, okay? And then we can make your life easier. I'm gonna set this to do not disturb so it stops making noises at our face. There we go, good. Generally speaking, it has to do with something that's a subset of another thing, okay? Chichetak, right? What would be something that is characteristic of a quality? Pick something, Oscar, because they don't know what that is. So you got to think quick on your feet so I can pick on you at the same time as not boring them.
Okay, like a Chevrolet.
A what?
A Chevrolet or Toyota.
Oh yeah, Chevrolet, Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Chevrolet.
Great. Yeah, right. Toyota and car. Okay. Is there something that's both a Toyota and a car?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, I can't.
Camry. Is there something that's a car, but not a Toyota?
Sure.
Yes.
A Subaru. Is there something that is neither a car nor a Toyota?
Oh,
Ford Ranger.
Ford, neither a car nor a Toyota.
so.
Oh yeah, debatable. You could say it's a truck,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we could argue about the definition of a car. We could, right? How about a gray rock?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, yeah, a gray rock neither. Is there something which is a Toyota but not a car? Yeah,
Sure.
like what?
Like a Tundra.
Well, we get into this problem, right? Maybe we should have said automobile
Sure.
or something. Yeah, right. Sure, you're not wrong.
Itself,
Say again, Ariel.
the company itself is Toyota and it is not a car.
Yeah, is the company itself a Toyota?
You're
Is it a Toyota? Hey, buy me a Toyota. Poor Ezra, for a long time, he was really confused about this. He believed that it meant toy, Yoda. Right. And in fact, he saw the movie E.T. and there was a little guy in a Yoda costume, right? Running around and he was like, oh, it's a Toyota. It seemed to make sense. Yeah.
Can I?
yeah.
So like, Jesus is not God, but God. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people believe that.
Oof. Oh, a little bit over my pay grade, but we
Sure.
can do it. Look, no one's
No,
looking.
I
Nobody
get-
tell. Okay.
Sure.
Nobody tell that we had this discussion. Okay. So Jesus, God, mushi musu mebechir. Okay. Meaning there is no relationship of 3 and there is no relationship of 4. Okay. There is no relationship of 3 and there is no relationship of 4. Okay. And then you would say that's not true or that's right. Okay.
So something cannot be 3 things, but it can be 4.
It's got to be 3 or 4.
It's got to be either 3 things or 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm saying it's not. I'm saying mushi musum mebechir. Okay, it's not 3 or 4. Okay, right? And then you say no, that's not true. Which I think you said. No, you said no. Who said no? And then I go after them.
And the goal is to.
Well, let's see. If you say no, there is a relationship. Then you're saying there is a relationship of 3 or 4, and I'm going to say, show me. Okay, something that's God and Jesus. You can say no to that one. You get to say yes or no.
No.
Okay, something that's God but not Jesus.
Does it have to be a physical
Uncomfortable.
thing?
Does it have to be? No, it doesn't have to
Allah?
be. What's that?
Allah? Or
Allah. Yeah, Allah.
what are you
Like
supposed to
it.
do?
Yeah, Allah, Ganesh. Ezra's really into Cupid lately, who I told him is essentially the god of love, Eros,
Sure.
which Ezra's born on Valentine's Day, and he looks a little bit like Cupid. So he's super into it. He got it on a menu at Wex. He was like, "Who's that guy?" And then we got into a whole conversation about the god of love, maybe. Maybe okay, God but not Jesus. We're gonna say Cupid. Okay, maybe. Neither God nor Jesus. I thought you were gonna say gray rock,
Sure,
but fine.
us.
I'm gonna use gray rock. Yeah, totally.
A moral human like us.
Okay, right. Okay. That's neither. We struggle with something that's both. How about Jesus but not God?
Jesus himself.
maybe,
Mary.
right?
His mom Mary would be in that.
And any dude named Jesus,
Basically, yeah.
right? Yeah, right. Okay. Right?
Got it.
Sure, ostensibly, it depends on
Sort of
your,
put together, yeah.
right. Okay, so you could do that, all right? Or maybe, right, maybe one's, right, so we could debate that, all right? Now, could we debate that? Can I debate whether or not Jesus is God? Not comfortably. Or, certainly not this early on in our relationship with the material. So-
Like the concept.
Sure, it's fine, I mean, it's good. You can pick any two things and start a debate. That's the thing. It's a cheap way to start a debate. Okay. Goodness. Okay. And here's the thing. And let me see if he did it in Tibetan or not. If he did, I'll write it in Tibetan on the board, and then you're in big trouble in that you're not really responsible for the, oh, fine. Okay. So let's say a good deed. All right. And a cause for enlightenment. All right. Good deed and a cause for enlightenment. All right.
You want an example?
No, well, we're going to talk about it. Let me go close this thing because this is terribly loud. Bear with me one moment.
Is it either 3 or 4? Is it 3? As I'm having trouble understanding, is it like a riddle or is it?
It's just the number 3 or
Okay. And I might as well start sopping up chai just, passively in the background. Good. God, did that do anything at all? Oh yeah, it's hot. Great. Good. You guys get no tea. I mean, make yourself a cup of tea, but not yet. Oh, good. What are the two things?
And a good deed and
A good deed and a cause for enlightenment. Okay. Mushi musu mebeche. Okay. You want to guess? You don't know. It's okay. But he did this. So what am I going to not do it? My teacher taught it this way. I'm going to teach it in his order. I don't know that it makes sense to me, but we're doing it in this order, but I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to be the guy who changes it. So what do you think? Is there something that is a good deed, neither a good deed nor a cause for enlightenment?
Neither a good deed.
going to the bathroom.
I like it, going to the bathroom. Yeah, probably. I guess it depends on what you do in the bathroom, but we assume that you're using it as a euphemism for number 1 or number 2. Sounds okay. Yeah, I was going to say punching a sucker in the belly.
Causing hurt.
Yeah, right. But yeah, fine. Okay. Yeah. Maybe how about a cause for enlightenment, but not a goodness? Oscar?
No, I don't think that exists.
I think they would say no, right? I think typically we would say no. What about something that is a good deed, but not a cause for enlightenment? Like what? Anything? No,
Well, like not stepping on a spider.
not stepping on a spider.
it's very tricky.
It's a really interesting debate whether or not that's a not stepping, whether or not doing a thing is doing a thing. I think it probably is. Anyway, you're having the thought to restrain yourself. So I'm going to allow it. We'll allow it. Can I allow it? I can allow it. I like it. I like it, actually. But is it, so what would make a thing, really the point I think of this debate, okay, is what would make a thing both?
What would make you think?
Yeah, can you do goodness? All right. Like I can be a little passive aggressive, okay? Which I personally, I'm not preaching this, I'm not teaching this, I'm talking about Ben and his own personal mental illness, okay? Which is that if someone really gives me a hard time, right? Like maybe I'll be really nice to them so that it's really obvious to everyone else what a jerk they are. Now this kills 2 birds with 1 stone, okay? 3 birds, okay? 3 bird. I come off looking like the good guy. I like that. Okay. 2, I didn't do a shitty thing. Okay. I did, like, I was nice. At least I was nice. Okay. My motivation wasn't great, but at least I was nice. If I could have nicer motivation, that'd be super. But if I can't, at least I didn't punch anyone in the belly. Okay. And I'm not necessarily recommending this approach. Okay. And then, I forget what number 3 was. Point being, okay. I'm hoping what? People will think I'm the good guy. I'm going to win. You see, against Turkey Magoo, right? Who doesn't deserve for people to think good things about him because he's bad and I'm good, right? So that's great. If my son is learning to share his food, right? I get him the adult size pancakes now because I'm going to eat some, right? He kind of wants the kid size pancakes so that I don't eat some, but he's learning, right? And then he wants some of whatever I have. So then in that context, he's like, no, don't take any of my food, but I'm like, well, come on, don't you want, are you going to want some of this? Yes, I am. And then he'll offer the food now, right? Is this a cause for enlightenment? Typically we would say no. He's working an angle, right? He's working a bargain, right? A little tit for tat, right? He wants, I don't know what I've got, whatever, he wants croissant.
It's an unaltruistic action.
Unaltruistic. I kind of like that. Okay. So what would be both? Okay. What would be both a cause for enlightenment and a good deed? I'm open. Got a shrug from Ariel.
Maybe laying down your life for the sake of someone else.
I feel like a lot of it does come down to being a parent. Like a lot of the theme there is a part of you and someone else.
That's cool. It's going to come up, the power of thinking like a parent is going to come up along the way. You used a word, altruistic, which is kind of nice because it relates to something we've been talking about. And you guys weren't here last week and it's not your fault. But what's this one?
The wish for enlightenment.
Yeah, the wish for enlightenment. Why?
For the sake, it could be either for the sake of yourself or for the sake of others, or just for the sake of escaping rebirth.
You could be right. Generally speaking, this one refers to doing it for the sake of others. Okay. And this one refers to doing it for the sake of yourself. Okay. Wanting out of trouble, wanting to get everyone out of trouble. Okay. Wanting out of trouble, wanting to get everyone out of trouble. Okay. So, and here's what my teacher said. Okay. Is that something that is both a cause for enlightenment and a good deed. Oscar, do you know the answer that he gave?
No.
In this context, it's a good deed that you do under the influence of Lamso Namsum, okay, of the 3 principal paths, okay? Now, I think you can debate this. In the reading, okay, should you choose to go there, you're going to find Pabonga Rinpoche say that once you achieve the wish for enlightenment, okay, the wish to achieve total enlightenment for the sake of others, okay, if you want to say the longhand, okay, you could just call it the wish, you could call it the wish for enlightenment, but really it's right, it's Semke or Jangchub Semke, the wish for enlightenment, or long version, you've got that memorized, right, Oscar?
I thought it was Janchub Semke.
Yeah, Semke Pani Shendon Chair Yanga Zope Jangchub Du, okay?
Oh, okay.
You got it, right? All right. He'll memorize it. You'll see. You'll go back to Oscar later and he'll be like, yeah, I know that. The wish to achieve enlightenment for the sake of others. Okay. The decision that you can't really help people with their pain unless you know how to overcome pain. And so for that reason, you see, for that reason, I want to become enlightened. Now, with that thought in mind, supposedly, okay, Pabonga Rinpoche is going to say, every good deed you do becomes a direct cause for your enlightenment. Right? He's going to say that. Now, what's interesting is it's not what my teacher said back in 95 or 93 or whatever it was. He said you had to have all of these. He said it involves all of them. Even on top of that, I think that you could make an interesting argument about this. If you talk about higher and lower enlightenments, and there's supposedly a thing, all right, in some systems that you can reach enlightenment just for yourself, meaning you're kind of like spaced out in the nirvana zone where you can no longer think negative thoughts. You're no longer plagued by negative emotions, and it's not any good to anyone else. But I wonder if any goodness that you do imbued by Ngengjung, by renunciation, would be a cause for a lower enlightenment. Any good deed you do influenced by Semke, right, by the wish, would be a cause for higher enlightenment. And I think it's the point of what he's trying to get here. Okay, so we should talk about why this is true. All right. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know why he goes there. I'll deal with it later. Okay. Okay, at least I can do this. Is it? Okay. Oscar, is it backwards in Zoom? No, it's not, right?
No.
Good. What's the first one?
She.
Bummer. No, up here.
Oh, sorry.
Thank goodness. I know my handwriting's bad.
The third one is sa, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wa.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, you're used to seeing it like this, aren't you? What if I said that?
Tap.
Yeah, cool. Top. Okay, top. What does top mean? Do you know?
No.
That's okay. What's this one?
Sheran.
Good, shut up. Good. Top and shut up. Okay, top and shut up.
Wisdom.
And
Wisdom and virtue.
and what?
Virtue.
Virtue. Oh,
No?
virtue. Hold on.
Virtue. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Virtue.
No. You're great. Method. You're not wrong. Okay. Typically, they say method and wisdom. Okay. Method. Okay, and wisdom. All right, method and wisdom. Generally speaking, method refers to the first of the two principal paths, which are what, Ricky Ariel?
The wish and
Pronunciation.
pronunciation.
Yeah, great, sold. Generally top, okay. Shut up, okay. Shut up refers then, to what's left on the board. Yeah, correct you. Yeah, great. Yeah, cool. He didn't write here, but I'm gonna write. Oh, good. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna go out of order a little bit, but it's okay. Let's say, oh, here, I'll even do it this way. Doesn't matter because you can't read it. So I could be making up jibber jabber and you will never know.
It's written from left to right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You had me questioning it for a moment.
So it came into being after paper was created.
Did it come? Well, that's an interesting question, but yes. It's actually ripped off from Sanskrit. Here, we'll come back to this. Okay. Oscar?
What's the third in the first word? Ta or na?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so.
Uh-huh.
Sotme,
I'll take it. Sunam.
Sunam. Yes, Sunam. Tre.
We're over
No.
here, right? Here.
Yeah,
Key.
Sunam Ki. I don't know. Cho? Is that a Cho?
Yeah, here. Whoops. Sunam Kitsok. Okay.
Not
See,
so.
we can get better at writing. Sok means a collection, a gathering. Okay. What's Sunam? I met a guy named Sunam on the street like 3 days ago. Yeah, it was kind of weird. So it's not an uncommon Tibetan name. I was like, Sunam, you know, Ke Kana Yompayin, where are you from? He was from Nepal. It's cool. He's my neighbor. This means what's Sunam Kitsok?
Is it good quality or?
What's how's the dedication prayer go?
Sunam.
Yeshe Tok Tsokshing. It's the collection. Okay, and Tibetan is generally read right to left. Okay.
It's written left to right.
Yeah, it's just the grammar that works the other way.
I see.
I mean, they wouldn't read it that way,
Oh,
but the grammar works that way. Okay. Let's say goodness. Okay, that's basically good deeds. Okay, so it's kind of like this, right? Flip. Right.
Accumulation of goodness.
You could say that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, collection of goodness, accumulation of goodness, gathering of goodness, amassing of goodness. Suit yourself, right? Yeah, it's fine. Collection of goodness, collection of merit.
Merit.
Yeah, any of those things, collection of good deeds, collection of doing good stuff, generally acts as a cause for the God, am I going to keep doing this to us? I'm going to keep doing this to us, right? Yeah, totally. Let's say what's it a cause for, Oscar?
The collection of goodness.
Yeah. What's it cause?
You mean about the bodies?
Yeah.
I think that's one for Nirmanikaya.
Yeah, well, partly. Yeah. Okay. Say suku.
Suku.
Suku. Yeah, suku. Ku. Okay. In Sanskrit, it would be Rupakaya. So this is like they're going to talk about. They talk about 2 bodies of a Buddha, or 3 bodies of a Buddha, or 4 bodies of a Buddha, but it's not the point. Okay, it's not like they got, you know, a bunch of bodies around and what are the other 2 doing while the one's doing something. Okay, it's like parts of being enlightened in a way, and generally this gets split up into 2 groups. Okay, which are the Nirmanikaya, which means what?
The body of enjoyment.
Nah, that's Sambhogakaya. Okay, so what's the other one?
The body of wisdom.
Yeah, you would think. So the Nirmanikaya supposedly is the ability to appear to other people. In fact, when they talk about an enlightened, or when they talk about like an incarnate Lama in the Tibetan system, they'll call him a tuku. Okay, tuku is one of the 2 bodies. Okay, this splits up into the here, we'll say the tuku, okay, and the longku. Okay, not super important. All right, but I'm going to scribble them down. All right, which is the tradition is that the Buddha has a way that he sees himself, and then there's a way that he is seen by other being, okay, or she, or they, because ostensibly an enlightened being is beyond gender and all genders at the same time, is a perfect balance of male and female energies. So when we talk about a historical Buddha, we have a tendency to say he, because there was a dude maybe that lived 500 BC-ish. But enlightened being could be you, could be anybody. I don't know. Now, how do they look to themselves and how do they look to other people? Okay. To themselves, they say, by a collection of goodness. Okay. They come to see a totally perfected, beautiful body. There are all sorts of descriptions of like signs and marks on the body of a Buddha that make them whatever particularly beautiful in whatever the 837 ways, not literally, right? What is it? How many signs and marks do you remember? I think it's 64 and 24. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know that. But then there's the idea of a Nirmanikaya, an emanation bone, which is this idea that an enlightened being can appear anywhere that someone is ready to see them. They say in like the moon appears in every body of water on the earth at the same time as the tear in the eye of a child, without trying, right? The moon doesn't think to do that. And it probably says something just like the appearance of the moon on the earth says something more about the conditions on the earth, right? For example, there's water or reflectivity there. Just so probably the appearance of a Nirmanikaya, okay?
Reflects back onto the person beholding it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Understood.
Right, yeah, it probably says something more about what's going on in the person who is seeing that emanation. Okay, let's go back the other way. Oh, so generally speaking, Sunam Kitsok method relates to which two principal paths again? Yeah, good renunciation and the wish. Cool. Okay, great. Okay, shut up means what again?
Say again.
Shit up means what again?
It's the method.
Okay. Okay. Let me spell this right. For no one in particular, but myself. Okay. Did you already decide what that says, Oscar?
No.
Okay.
Is that a why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, great. I'll take it. Say yeshe. Yeshe. Kitso.
So
What's tso? Yeah, good. Yeah, of something. Great. Of. Figure it out from here. Yeah, wisdom. Yeah, right. Yeshe Kitsok, the collection of wisdom leads to what? Oscar.
to paradise body.
We already had the paradise body. That was
Sorry, to emptiness body.
the emptiness body. That's nice. Okay, here.
Ying Dakpe Tawa.
Young Dakpe Tawa. Look at you. Cool. Young Dakpe Tawa. Yeah, right. Sherab generally refers to Young Dakpe Tawa of the three principal paths. Okay, the collection of wisdom generally refers to Young Dakpe Tawa. Young Dakpe Tawa meaning
I'm sorry.
correct view. Okay, yeah. Young Dakpe Tawa. Okay, the third of the three principal paths. Okay, these are what they call the Dharmakaya. Okay, which whatever. Here, I'll be gentle here. Okay, here. Chuku, say chuku.
Chuku.
Okay, leads to the let's say no. Well, here, let's make it easier. We'll say the yeshe. Chuku. Okay, and the no wo ni ku. Yeshichuku is supposedly this idea of how much an enlightened being knows. Yeah, this is the knowledge in an enlightened being. Okay, I think it's a little uncomfortable to talk about. I don't want to be an apologist, okay, for Buddhism. Buddhism can speak for itself. But generally, they describe the mind of an enlightened being as omniscient. That's super uncomfortable for me, okay? Like, I don't understand what the hell that's supposed to mean, what it would be like to know all things, or the thought that someone could know all things, I think is problematic. But I think when you start to know more about, kind of more about this other body, frankly, so we could call this omniscience, okay? I can't, anyone's, isn't it? SC, and this is like the essence, okay, body. Okay, so you could just say the omniscience body and the essence body, okay, which is the idea mostly that this one is empty, all right, is not real. Okay, now what do we mean by not real? That's something that would have to unfold probably over a lot of time together. Is this pen real? Okay, you know, sort of like I can write with it, all right, but from a Buddhist perspective, it's not real. Okay, if a dog comes in the room, right, and looks at this object, do they see a pen?
Of course not.
What do they see?
No, I mean, a thing, something to
Stick.
chew on.
Great, yeah, cool, something to chew on, right? If all the dogs and all the people leave the room and this thing's just sitting right here, then what is it? Is it? Yeah, right, hard to say, right? It's hard to say what it is, right? It's hard to say, right? You get,
I mean, it sounds like quantum physics. It doesn't sound like Buddhism. It sounds like neuroscience. Is any of this stuff that we see in front of us actually there, or is our brain taking in data and assuming that it's there because that's what our brain does? That's kind of like the essence of.
well, I'm not going to disagree with you. You know, do we need neuroscience to see that? Right, is an interesting question, right? Can you see
because
that?
They
Yeah.
figured it out in caves, sitting still and meditating. They didn't need technology to come to that same understanding.
So if you could figure that out yourself, okay. And I'll just say I'll throw away one more vocabulary word and then we should drink tea. Okay. Say Maha
Maha
Mudra.
Mudra.
Maha Mudra. Oh, we'll call it the Great Seal. What's Mahamudra, Oscar?
I don't know. I think I'm thinking in another meaning. I don't know if
What meaning are you thinking?
uh,
I'm open.
like a practice, like a
An initiation.
No,
like
yeah.
a practice that involves a highest view.
Yeah, a practice that involves highest view. Yeah, well, sure. I mean, we are on the topic of correct view, right? So hopefully it is related. Is it like an initiation? That's an interesting question, okay? Because sometimes this is used in reference to tantric practice, okay? It's not necessarily what we're referring to here.
But if it was self-induced somehow, it's.
Yeah, that's nice. In this context, okay, It's a code for a direct perception of truth, of ultimate reality. Okay, the highest seal, the highest form. Seal means like it actually refers to like a king's seal, right? Like he's got a thing in a box, right? And if he puts his seal on a piece of paper, then the general off at the front lines knows that he has to do whatever the king said. And you don't have to listen to the order unless it's got the king's seal on it. And he always keeps it with him, all right? So it's also came to mean something that you keep close to you or you make central to yourself, that you keep closer to you than anything else. Because if someone else gets the king's seal, then they can get into some real trouble, we'll say, to put it mildly. In this context, it refers to a direct perception of truth, okay? Which is the highest form of Yang Dakpe Tawa. And they say in that moment that you come face to face with this aspect of an enlightened being, okay? That in that moment, you come face to face with this aspect of an enlightened being, okay? Which is also, in a sense, what you'll sometimes hear the term Buddha nature, okay? Which has come to mean people think whatever, like we all got a little Buddha living inside us, you know, somewhere around our spleen or something, but it's not the point, okay? The point is that the fact that you are not real in the way that you might think you are, okay? The fact that you depend for your existence on the way that you think of you.
That's right.
And that depends on,
Everything you're told constantly, from parents to teachers to coaches.
well, and then also everything that you have done or said or thought in reaction to those things. That since there's no real you that is independent from the way that you think of you, to come face to face with that is supposedly the one part of you, okay, that is already right now, just like the way that part of a Buddha is. That lack of a true essence, that lack of a nature, that lack of a self-existence, that lack of a me or my mind that could exist without me seeing myself the way that I do, as forced on me by my own predispositions and tendencies. You see, that lack is the essence body of a Buddha, okay? That a Buddha's omniscience, okay? Which sounds crazy until you understand, of course, there's not really any such thing as omniscience. Because there's not really any such thing as limited knowledge either. That's a state of mind. You are forced to see yourself in a certain way that your perception is limited. And you're right. It is limited. Doesn't mean that it's not. It is. I don't know how many fingers you're holding up. I mean, you're not, but one, we'll say Oscar. Okay, because I can't see his hands. Ricky's holding up 874 fingers right now, and I can't see them. Was I right? No, I was. It was other people's fingers. It's pretty messed up. We see ourselves as limited for some reason. And if that weren't the case, then we would see our mind as unlimited, and neither one is really true. And that truth about this is this.
Like Purusha in Sanskrit?
Purusha, I tell you, I would talk about it in the break if you want, but no, ostensibly not, okay? Because Purusha is self-existent, okay? According to the Sankhya system or the yoga system, Purusha is a real you that really exists and doesn't matter who thinks what about it, okay? And this is a denial of that, okay? And to see that that's not true about yourself directly, plainly as you see the thumb on your own hand, is Mahamudra. I want tea and a cookie or something. Okay, have whatever, have 5-10 minutes or whatever, and then I'll always have the shorter part of class will always be post break. That's how I was taught that it's least painful for me. Okay, have tea.
How do you spell the essence body? Is it NGOWOU? Sorry, I couldn't see it. It was on the bottom right. Oh, there's a lot of letters there at the end.
Cool. NGOWO NYI. No ni gu. Right, body.
Got it.
Yeah, essence. It's actually like, unfortunately, it's kind of essence-ness. Sorry.
Of course.
Now, no, it does. It totally makes sense. It's just not English anymore.
You have a Ben Ness, I have a Caleb Ness.
Art-
There is a Ness. in this room.
Elliot Ness, right? But we're pushing the bounds of what should fairly be called English. You're not wrong.
English.
Well, sure, right, yeah. So, there's an argument to be made, okay, as a good translator. If you translate into not English, there's an argument to be made that it's not perfectly translated. So if we want to make sure that this ends up as English, then essence body is probably good for now, because essence-ness body is technically cheating into not English. It's not illegal. And in fact, I bet you could Dharma books written by Western scholars that attempt the word essence-ness. Look it up. You can Google it, okay, while we get tea. If you find the word essence-ness, I predict it'll be somehow associated with Buddhism. But I would also argue it's not really a word. It's probably not even in the Oxford English Dictionary, and that's big.
They got emojis now in there.
They got emojis in there, and I think essence-ness is probably not even in there. Okay, tea. I'm gonna have tea. I'm gonna get, will everyone have tea? Will the three of you each have some? If I bring 3 cups?
I would
Yeah,
love to see.
I
sure.
would try your
Sounds
tea.
good.
Good, all right, good.
Essence-ness. I'm Googling it.
In fact, Ness is probably like the best word I can think of for what is trying to be conveyed. We have uniqueness. Your essence is unique to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Would you do me a favor? Would you grab and open that box of cookies?
So in this case, would the nest be like pertaining to, or how would it be describing the word essence?
Oh,
Like a lot of essence pertaining to essence?
I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. And it's a reference to emptiness. Okay.
So it's like pertaining to.
Yeah, or what they sometimes call suchness. Okay, suchness, emptiness, isness. Okay, also not a word. Okay, isness. Here. Here.
I mean, yes, we do have isness, presence,
Presence.
isness.
I like that.
How do we use ness in English legally?
When we attach ness to a word, it's describing a characteristic of something.
Okay,
You have
happiness.
uniqueness.
Yeah. Okay, uniqueness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it usually
I think-
describes something attached to.
Like the first one, oh, these are pleasant. That's the first one you gave that I think is an arguably a word. Uniqueness. Probably in the dictionary. Happiness. It's it's da in Sanskrit, which is not really helpful. Okay, but shunyata, tathagata.
Space.
Shunya, interesting. Shunya means empty. So like you said, as a quality, if we take, it's almost like taking an adjective, like talking about a quality is almost taking an adjective as a thing, right?
Adjective versus noun.
Yeah.
Right, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Hmm?
It's like the way that you ended essence, like with mess,
Mm-hmm.
you could
That's
also,
a noun.
yeah, you could end it with a different suffix depending on the part of speech, like you could say like oid. And so
Yeah.
it does depend, like it's, what were they trying to say with mess? Because you can say the same thing with something else.
Well, we could have called it the emptiness body, but
Oh,
that's a different word. And so I felt a little bit like it'd be cheating. Because Noah doesn't mean essence, okay? We're hanging out, we're not related. You're welcome to hang out. You don't have to go hide or anything, yeah. So like, is the cup empty? It's a good example because there's tea in it.
We can only know if we witness it.
Well, right, sort of. I mean, I think, what were you gonna say?
Well, I mean, if Ben tells you and you believe Ben, then you don't have to see it.
Well, yeah, that's a big if. Would I lie for the sake of illustrating a point? You better believe it, buddy.
Your teacher.
Yeah.
He was great seal though.
Say again?
Like he was using, you didn't have a great seal. In your case, you was using Ben was your seal of. I'll trust that as good.
Well, Ben, what does full mean? Can it be full of air at the same time that it has some liquid in it or no liquid in it?
Well, that's kind of what I kind of was hoping someone would ask. Empty of what?
That's true. I mean,
You know, if I ask you if the cup is empty, right? Like, yeah, of what? Of cross-contamination with peanuts. I was very careful at the store today for someone who didn't come. Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And it said something in here about peanut free. To avoid just this problem. So yes, is my cup free of peanuts? Is my cup free of what is it? PPPs, BBPs, beep. What don't we want to be in our soda cans?
Oh, you mean PVC? Wait, that's in our water bottles. Are you talking about PVC
That's the
in
one,
our water
the one.
bottle? PVC.
PBA, public displays of affection. Yeah, is it? Yeah, right. Is it free of dogs? Is my cup free of dogs? Yeah, you could see from there, right? Not even a teacup chihuahua would fit neatly in this cup.
I've got, how about, is my kombucha free of alcohol such that it's appropriate for Buddhism training?
Such that, look, I'm not here to judge people. I mean, you know, right? It probably has some, right?
Right, it's fermented.
It is fermented. I bet there are traces of alcohol in kombucha. There was a whole thing, right? GT had to like take everything off the shelf. This was like 10 years ago or something. Remember there was this moment GT had to like, suddenly they had to be much more careful about how long they let their kombucha sit on the shelf because if it sat on the shelf too long, the alcohol content seemed to rise above what it was supposed to be. Yeah, yeah, fun indeed. Yeah, totally. Now they just, you know, send it over to the hard kombucha part of the store. Hard kombucha. Yes. Yeah, so there's the cup empty of what? Yeah, right. Ricky says, what do you mean? Like it's got air in it. It's filled to the brim, right? There's tea from here to here. There's air from here to here, right? Cup's not empty, never has been. As soon as you created a void to hold, and it was not in the vacuum. Hell, even in space, it's full of void. Full of vacuum. I'm gonna make sure that door is shut. So that we don't have too loud.
Well, even a single atom is mostly empty space.
Right. Yeah, they say it. Yeah. Cool. So In this case, what is a Buddha's omniscience empty of?
Like lines.
Well, if it was originating as a collection of good deeds, it would be empty of bad deeds.
Oh, that's not bad. It is empty of bad deeds, but I don't think it's what they mean.
No.
What do you guys want to hazard a guess?
It's empty of the incorrect view.
It's not too bad. Oscar?
Well, empty of nature or a definitive way of being.
We're getting warmer. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit, you're right. It's a little bit Dharma-ese, right? It's a little bit replacing, like at least it's English. You're replacing Sanskrit and Tibetan with English. That's good. It's still English that has to be translated. Because then what's a definitive nature? What does that mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in this case, it means it's empty of being a state of mind which could know all things independently of being forced to see it as a state of mind that knows all things. It's not about the state of mind. It's hard with a state of mind, right? It's easier with a pen, right? The pen is empty of being a pen to the dog.
Well, let's say the internet. The internet is a source of omniscient information and it doesn't exist anywhere.
Omniscient is going far, like there's
In
stuff
terms
that's
of-
not on the internet, but yeah, totally, right. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. And maybe it exists in a lot of places. There are servers, right, where there are ones and zeros, but yeah,
We have brains that our thoughts don't exist per se.
per se, do they not?
Nobody knows it yet.
Nobody knows yet. Well, of course, a thought exists. If a thought didn't exist, right, like we talked about the right car and Chevy, right? So you could have a car, right? A Toyota, right? You could have the idea car, okay? Where is a Toyota? You brought one today.
Yeah, what are you referring to? Like,
Your Toyota, you brought a Toyota.
yeah, parking lot?
There's a Toyota in the parking lot, yeah? Toyota is a subset of car, yeah? Where is car? See, if you say it doesn't exist at all, then you wouldn't know whether or not Toyota was one, right? You couldn't recognize other cars. You couldn't draw a car if you said the idea of car didn't exist.
Because you would think it was a thing from ET.
Yeah, right, Toyota. But how does that idea exist? That's a different question, right? And in what way is your Toyota dependent on the idea in our head to exist, right? And that idea that we can't quite wrap our minds around. Okay, same question about omniscience. If omniscience is a real thing, then this is fairy tale bullshit, right? If omniscience is a real thing, a real state of mind, right? Then you should be very wary of someone saying that you could reach such a state.
What if omniscience isn't really a state of like know-it-all? It's more of like a state of
You know?
accepting that there is something else to know. And
I'm fine with that. It's not how it's described, right? I mean, it would be convenient for me to say yes to that. We are inconvenienced by the fact that there's a large body of literature that describes it as mainly knowing everything that a person should do or shouldn't do if they want to get a good result and avoid bad results.
that's
Okay.
really, really socially smart.
Yeah, more than socially, right? Even on a desert island, right? You would definitely know what berries to eat and what berries not to eat.
Okay,
They
hold
say
on a second.
even, yes, please.
So okay, whoa, so this just gave me a thought of nature versus nurture, because you
Okay.
said desert island, so could
Yeah.
somebody, you're like, could somebody just be, okay, this is a really terrible example, so forgive me, but could somebody just be born a Buddha, but like have never experienced human interaction? Like they're simply just whatever enlightened thoughts are considered to be these essences? Could somebody just be innately?
Great question. Great question. The essence body of a Buddha is the answer no to that. In the sense that, okay, a Buddha depends on two things. What two?
The wish, is that right?
Sunam Yeshe Tsok Tsok Shing. The Sunam Kitok and Yeshe Kitok. The collection of wisdom and the collection of goodness, okay? That you are forced, right? By deeds, interactions, right? By your interaction with the world and yourself, okay? That your mind, your ever malleable mind, okay, is helpless, but to interpret data, okay? When you look at your mind as omniscient. Now, does that make it so for me? If you decide you're omniscient, does that mean I got to buy it? No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You may not at all be omniscient for me. Okay. I could be omniscient to myself and I could be a real dodo for you. Now, again, ostensibly that says something more about the shape of your mind than my mind. Right.
But the way that I'm picking it up anyway is even if you are omniscient, if you ever get to that level, you wouldn't even know that you are.
But then isn't part of being omniscient is knowing everything?
She's
So
technically right. If that were true, then it couldn't be
That's not
true.
necessarily the definition, though. It's knowing the outcomes, not knowing, it's only knowing the outcomes.
Look, I just work here, but they do say that, okay? They do say that the Buddha knows the color of a rock on the bottom of the sea, all right? I don't know what to do with that, all right? Look, like I said, I just work here. What does that mean, okay? What does that mean and how are we to take that? How are we to feel about that? And by the way, we don't got to accept it, right? I mean, to take everything I say or to take everything the Buddha says, I mean, very famously, and one of the first things that got me into Buddhism was the Buddha saying, please, for the love of God, not how he put it, do not accept what I say because I said it, right? Scratch it, burn it, cut it. These are like references to like a gold micer or something. If you wanted to test a piece of gold, right? You could scratch it, you could cut it, you could burn it. I don't actually know how gold reacts in each of these scenarios, but you know, we could guess. Some of it's obvious, some of it's not. Right. It should be soft, right? 24 karat gold is supposed to be soft. I don't know if it burns. It's not the point. Refers to comparing things to your own experience. Right? Comparing things to other stuff that the Buddha said, right? For consistency. Refers to logic, good darn sense, and whether or not those things hold up. You know, for me, something like omniscience, right, is I would say on the shelf. Okay, my teacher always says, like, put it on the shelf, right? Like, I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand, okay, because I know something about the mind, the malleability of mind, okay? That mind can be shifted a lot to see a lot of things. So like, for example, I know Morgan, she's a nice lady, okay? Morgan knows Morgan, okay? She makes a funny face when I say she's a nice lady, okay? Based on her feelings about her. You've done yoga with her maybe, right? Have you met Morgan before?
Not before this class.
Cool, great. Yeah. Who's right about the real Morgan?
Shit.
I mean, it seems unfair to say you get to be right because you just met her. Okay. So at least I should be more right because I know her better even than Jack. Okay. But shouldn't she be the most right? Not great, you see,
No,
like
she
she
has-
made that little face, for example, okay, and I make the face too, Morgan, you know, but she made that little face when I said what a nice lady she was, right? Like she was ambivalent to accept that, and I make those faces too, right? When people say nice things about Ben, we all have our own whatever bullshit about ourselves, our misperception of ourselves,
Is the
frankly.
question who has the correct view? Is that what we're trying to get at?
Yeah, I am trying to get at that. I am trying to get at who has the correct view. So who has the correct view of Morgan? Okay,
It's not static.
Well, who's to say?
I didn't say, well, who's to say? Yeah.
Only a person with omniscience.
Well, no.
Well, that's interesting. You see, now even a person with omniscience has seeds, predispositions,
Samskaras?
sanskaras, okay, sanskara, vasana, okay.
Impressions.
In this case, a collection of goodness, which has forces their mind into a certain shape. And when they look at Morgan, what they see is more about the shape of their mind than it is about the shape of Morgan.
Okay, I understand.
So who's Morgan really? Shunya. Shunyata. No such thing. No such thing.
Like it makes me think of resonance almost, because it's not like
Resonance.
how electrons move amongst the most stable forms of a molecule. Okay, well, it's.
I did
kinda
not
like
go to
thought.
molecule school.
It's fine, but we're talking in thought school, so it's like each of us have our own thought. Of,
Yes.
of,
Yeah.
In this case, Morgan.
Yeah.
Some of them may be more stable than others. So in the environment that we live in now, which of those thoughts are going to actually play out the most? Which one is actually liable?
Yeah, right. But couldn't we both have almost contradictory experiences of you, right? Like, you know, you do something and one person's mad at you for doing it. Okay, whatever. Let's say you know, my teacher always talks about his boss, right? Like his boss comes in the room and yells at him, and for him it sucks. Okay, it does suck. There's a guy yelling at you. That's not wrong. Okay, that's viable. This sucks. My boss is yelling at me. This is a situation. My livelihood depends on this. It's a problem. Okay.
The one who wants that position, that's exciting.
Yeah, not to mention, my teacher took a lot of time off work, okay, to run around and be a monk. Okay, so the guy across the room was like, you know, finally Mike's getting it, right? He deserves it. He's been a real pain in the ass. He's not particularly reliable, in my opinion, because he's not in his seat enough of the time. It's about, this is good. Is it good for the team that he's getting yelled at? It's good, right? It's been a problem, okay? Someone else in the room, they hear something going on. They just don't give a, you know, it's just not particularly relevant or interesting to them, okay? Who's right? See, they're all viable. They're all viable in the context of each of these people's experience, right? The boss is an asset, okay? The boss is the hero, you see? And the boss is whatever, you know? Those are all correct, okay? You take a yoga asana class, right? One person has the best class they ever had, right? They come out just crying and they want to hug everybody and they go, you know, I'm buying everyone a green juice. Come on, let's go. And then they're like, yeah, you know, I have a student, I don't want to say this, no, because you won't notice, right? But we have a student, yeah, hopefully you never notice or figure out who it is. But there's a student who often comes, I've never seen this before, who can do who does hot yoga while chewing gum.
Whoa.
And just does not give a shit, you know, just like, and they're very strong and can do some yoga and just like whatever, like inversions, like also, you know, strong, like very impressive. I just could not care less. I've never seen anything like it. It's extraordinary. Yeah, you don't know who it is.
Some people can't even walk and shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And someone hurts themselves. Okay. And then someone hurts themselves. Okay. Or, you know, Something came up for someone in the class that I taught, okay? I am so careful. I try to be so careful. Okay, whenever someone comes to the studio, right? I'm gonna encourage you. I'm gonna tell you to try your hardest. I'm gonna come over. I may offer you a physical adjustment even, okay? Don't listen to me. I'm not the boss of you, okay? You're the boss of you. You know you're the boss of you. You know I'm not the boss of you. Also know that I'm not the boss of you. Don't worry about it, okay? Just tell me to go away. I don't mind. The one time I forget, right? And
Somebody listen to you.
no, well, someone was really, they were a survivor of trauma and came out and told me that they were really upset by the way that I pushed them and encouraged them. And other people had a really great class, okay? Does that mean that I'm somehow now free of the responsibility of, no, I should have said something. Okay, that was my bad. Okay, that was my bad. And I try to be good about it, and it's really important. And I'm sorry, that sucks.
But it says more about them than it does about you. All you did was deliver the information, what they experienced.
I don't want to say, right. I mean, my experience,
to
now,
this.
did I have a good yoga class? It's a different question. Yes, in a sense, it does say more about them, okay? That they had a bad experience versus someone who had a good experience versus someone who had a neutral experience. But did I have a good experience? No, that sucked, okay? So it still does say a lot about me, all right? I did make a boo-boo and it did suck, all right? And that does say something about me. So who's the real Morgan? What's the real yoga class? What's this thing when everyone leaves the room? You see? Then when you think like that, okay, it just depends on what you bring to the table when you look at something. It depends on the shape of your mind. There's a thing, right? And if you read the reading, and God bless you, you two are just crazy enough to do it. But I'm not going to be mad if you don't. But it's right there. I know you're probably likely to. They're going to talk about like heavens and hells.
Sure.
And, a lot of people like ran to Buddhism from like Catholicism because they didn't want all the like heaven and hell shit, like, I'm sorry, it's in there, There's a scripture called the Sutra requested by, oh, look out, the Sutra requested by Upali. And the Buddha says to this monk, he's like, what do you think, like, whatever, Joe's construction company went underground and built hell? It's not real. It's your mind. The shape of your mind forces you to look at this hand and see pain and burning instead of flesh. It's not real. But in that way, neither is what you're seeing now. That the mind is so malleable that you could be pulling in the same data, right? And your mind assembling it.
There is no screen.
As pain. Right. Yeah, right. Sure. Right. Sure. Now you see, what does omniscience mean in that context? Right. And I don't know. Okay. This is not me saying now you have to accept omniscience or now you have to accept heaven and hells. But the mind's pretty malleable. The mind is pretty malleable. The mind can see all sorts of crazy things. Okay. By the way, the Buddha goes on to describe, he kind of says, so now you have to accept that there's such a place as hell because the mind is that malleable and it's very uncomfortable. Okay. This is not me saying this. This is the book saying this is okay. If you still don't accept it, it doesn't matter. Okay. But he goes on to say, he goes on to describe paradise. Right. And majestic towers and beautiful sights and beautiful sounds and smells and these two, right, are all in your mind. And so it's Tuscaloosa. Okay. If you drive there, it's a I'll be damned, you said, right. It's also just a shift here. And then now you think you're in a place called Tuscaloosa. So I'm not even saying that hell's not a place or that heaven's not a place. Because it is, just like Tuscaloosa. But it's just in your head. But it's also a place.
Because if your mind wandered there, in a sense, you did.
And so, which is not, not to say that just because we think of it, we are there, but there's a way in which you could think of it, in which you would be. So
adding on to all this thought,
Yeah.
would an omniscient thought be like, not just like knowing that there is like 500 different ways to think of something, but knowing that there's good and bad ways and different perceived ways to think about it, and you're choosing the one that is correct.
Are you adding to that?
Not quite yet, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that you don't get to choose that way, unfortunately.
Really?
Short term, no. Long term, yes. Okay. If I decide I want this to be a stick of gold, come on. Didn't work.
I mean, I can look at that, and this is gonna be really mean to say.
No
I'm not
problem.
thinking about it.
I'm okay.
But you can shove that in somebody's ear, right?
You could.
Or in their nose, and that will cause them harm, and that's a thought that somebody could have, and
Yes.
they know that they're capable of having, but they're choosing not to act on.
Sometimes we can choose and sometimes we cannot. And I'm even suspicious of some of the times we think we can choose. But generally speaking, yeah, I can choose to pick this nostril or this nostril, but I don't seem to have the ability to choose to believe that this is not a nostril. Not right now, not in this moment. I can't help it. I can't help it. When I look at this thing, I see pen. I can't help it, right? There's already something going on, okay? The predispositions of your mind, okay? The idiosyncratic topography, okay, of what you've been through, what you've gone through, what you did, said, thought, okay, leading up to this moment has forced you into a position where I go, meh, and your mind goes pen or marker, spare me, right?
Sure.
Dry erase doodad, right? Now, could you look into your mind and see omniscience, right? We're getting warmer, okay? It's not suddenly comfortable now. Don't get me wrong. I ain't comfortable with it either, frankly. All right. But independence on the fact that there could never truly be any such thing as an omniscient mind. Now I'm a little bit closer. Now I'm a little bit closer to thinking if all you have to do is be helpless, but to see your mind in that way. All you have to do is be helpless, but to see your mind in that way. Does that make it that way? Does that make it that way? There's a, what question are you supposed to ask at this time? Oscar, you've heard it 873 times. Does it make it that way? What question should you ask me?
You mean about the,
Does seeing my mind as omniscient
yeah,
make my mind omniscient? You should ask me,
that depends on you?
yeah, cool, great. For who? For who? Yeah. Does it make it omniscient for you? Nah. No, it doesn't necessarily work that way, right? I could see myself as an enlightened being and you see me as not an enlightened being and vice versa, right? You could see me as an enlightened being and I see myself as some poor schmuck, right? Who's just trying to make his teacher happy by teaching what he was taught, right? At whatever half-assed job, you know, just felt like it's his job. So help me if no one comes, you know, I should show up here at Monday night and teach what my teacher taught me, you know, so at least I got it out once in this life. Okay. Last thing on the homework that if I don't cover it, no one's going to cover it. Oh, cool. Here, this is kind of cool. Okay. Here, I'm not going to write the Tibetan because we're in a hurry. Is it spicy?
It's not too bad.
Were you about to write Ken Rinpoche?
I wasn't going to write Ken Rinpoche.
I saw I recognize the first symbol.
That's cool. Here, let's say shade drip. Okay. Okay. And Yun drip. Did he really do it in that order? God, why? Okay. It's all right. Dripa means an obstacle. Okay. Okay, and that's here too. Okay, drip, drip. Okay, obstacle. Can be any obstacle. It's even sometimes used colloquially. Unyundrit means an obstacle to what? What are the two? Do you know, Oscar?
Freedom and
like it.
omniscience.
Yeah, I like it. Unfortunately, Nyun is actually short for Nyunmong. Uh-huh. Affliction. Okay, so I think you could say, and this is going to be a little confusing, okay, but this is like, well, say here, we'll say mental affliction. Okay, which is maybe nicer to say like negative, klesha.
Klesha, okay.
Okay, negative emotion. It's basically any thought that disturbs your mind. Okay, any thought that disturbs your mind, okay, is an obstacle to nirvana.
And that's just the bottom one.
Yeah, that's just the bottom one. Yeah, totally. Mhm. Nirvana is the total cessation, the total stopping forever of nyundrips, of kleshas, basically. Okay, the total stopping forever of thoughts that disturb the mind. Okay, is nirvana. Okay. I think generally speaking, when you combine, okay, Mahamudra and, okay, meaning really, Yang Dak Betawa. In its highest form. Okay, meaning what in English?
Which one, the second one?
Yeah, right. Corrective view. Okay. If you combine that, especially with renunciation. Okay. With a true thought that you no longer want the goodnesses that run out. Okay, that you want to find. It's especially a renouncing of shit that doesn't work. Okay, like I hereby renounce punching people in the belly to get a bigger share of cake because it didn't make me happy.
I understand.
Because it just didn't work. I just wanted to be happy, right? But it didn't work. Okay, that I renounce the things that don't bring me happiness. Mhm. Shadrit means obstacle to omniscience. You get the idea? Uh-huh. Okay. Which also means, okay, to total enlightenment. Which I would say probably comes from correct view, right? Plus what? Getting rid of this, right? Getting rid of these obstacles comes from correct view with
The wish.
The wish.
Yeah, great. Omniscience, okay, the ability to read minds, hearts, other people's feelings is, they say, entirely dependent upon wisdom, which is combined with a drive to serve other people. Okay. Little cutesy prayer sheet. First we do the first one we did last time. Okay. Mandala. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, we can try, right? Ring finger to the back of the ring finger. Mhm. Pinkies cross over on top. You have a tendency to cross your finger. Yeah, good. Ring finger, pinkies and back. Yeah, good. Your ring fingers are still not touching. Are they? Oh, they are. You're right. Okay. Grab your pinkies with your thumbs. Great. And then, grab your middle fingers with your pointer fingers. Hey, not bad. Cool. You get as much practice as you want. It's okay. This is also totally acceptable. This is also fine. Good. Sashi Puki Chukshing Metok Dram Rirab Lingshin Yende Gempadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Drokun Namdak Shingla Druparsho Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kamnir Yatayami. Now the one that says Moa. Okay. Gewati Gewokun Sunam Yeshe Tsok Tsok Shing Sunam Yeshe Le Chungwe Dampar Kunyi Topar Shok. By the goodness we have just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. Okay. Good night. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Gracias, Ben.
nice to see you.
Have a virtual like Venmo, cup.
You're welcome to Venmo. Yeah, at Venmo at here. Let me see. What's my Venmo?
That's fine.
If you want, it's also super
It
nice.
should definitely be Venmo.
Venmo, right? I should see if I can do that. I should see if that's available. It looks like it's. Oh my god. At Benjamin Kramer 28827. Sorry. Venmo would be way cooler. Don't do it. You don't got to send me money. Okay. But Kendra told me I'm supposed to tell people how to. But I don't care. Okay. I'm very happy. I not only was I not charged money in a situation where I could have given donations, but I couldn't give donations for a very long time. I was taught, I don't know, 20 years or something. Not only was I not charged money, but my teacher repeatedly and continues to pay me to be his student. So don't worry about it. All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. See you soon. Thanks, Oscar. Thanks.
Thanks for passing it on, Ben.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.